Set the table with a pretty pavlova platter. Stacked with mini heart-shaped pavlovas and a dazzling array of toppings, it's a party spread that will steal anyone's heart. Leigh Anne Wilkes is laying out this darling idea for us. Welcome back. You always bring the funnest things. I've never even seen this before, and we're obsessed with this party platter. You say this would be perfect for Valentine's.
For Valentine's, for a bridal shower, a baby shower, anything like that.
Anywhere where love's involved.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about this recipe.
Okay.
I know there's some specific things you want us to do when we're making this.
A lot of people think meringue or pavlova is really hard, but it really is easy. And there's very few ingredients involved: egg, sugar, vanilla, cream of tartar. The hardest part of this whole thing is actually separating your eggs.
Okay.
Because we're only going to use egg white.
And you want zero yellow in there, you say?
Zero yellow,
okay.
Because then they're not going to whip up like they're supposed to.
Okay.
So you just need to be careful when you separate your eggs. So most people will just crack their egg, put their egg white in one and the yolk in the other. Well, that's what we're going to do, but...
What's the trick?
One of the tricks is you want to separate an egg when it's cold.
Oh.
It is much easier to separate an egg when it is cold than when it is room temperature. Then we're going to put our yolk in here.
Okay.
All right. Then our second one, I'm not going to crack it into that bowl, okay? Because what happens if I get some yolk in it?
The whole thing's ruined.
It contaminates the whole thing, right? So we're going to do it into a third bowl. So you do need to dirty 3 bowls, but it's so worth it.
It's okay. We have dishwashers.
Yes, there you go. All right. And then I would pour this one into here, and then we'd crack another one. That's that easy.
So easy.
So like I said, you want to crack them while they are chilled, but you want to whip them in the meringue while they're room temperature.
So you do that ahead of time,
and then let it sit. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're going to whip it up, and
she says when we whip it up too, we can't use plastic bowls, people.
You want to use glass or metal. And the reason is your plastic bowls kind of hold on to fat, onto grease, from different things. So if all you have is a mixer with a plastic bowl, use a glass bowl and a hand mixer. I use my stand mixer with the metal bowl, but
if we don't have a plastic
bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really all we're putting in are 4 ingredients, it looks like.
Right. You're going to whip up your egg whites and you add a little cream of tartar in, which just kind of helps as a stabilizer, and then sugar. Now I like to use extra fine baker's sugar. It can be a little hard to find. So I have totally made it with just regular granulated sugar too.
Where do you find it?
This, I've only been able to find at Harmon's.
Harmon's,
here
okay.
in Utah, yeah.
And you said it's really important to add the sugar in very slowly.
Slowly,
which means
a
what?
tablespoon at a time. And then let that incorporate and add another tablespoon, because if you pour it all in at one time, the weight of that sugar is going to break down all those little air bubbles you've created, and you won't have a nice, light, fluffy meringue.
So we need patience with this recipe.
Yeah, just
5
minutes.
Patience. Okay.
That's all it takes, 5 minutes.
Okay, and then we get the concoction. How do we know when it's the right consistency?
Well, it's because it'll be nice and shiny and glossy.
Shiny and glossy,
Right,
okay.
and when I pipe this out, you're going to see what it's going to look like. It's going to be light, fluffy, shiny, and glossy.
And once we get that, we stick it in your piping bag.
Right, and I'm just using a regular piping decorating bag and a round tip. Now, if you don't have a piping bag, you can totally do this just with a spoon, the back of a spoon. We're going to make them heart-shaped.
Okay.
So you can
make these any shape, I guess?
Any shape you want. Usually I just make them round. But for Valentine's Day, we're going to go with the heart. And I'm going to use this cookie cutters in my guide. You could just draw your hearts too. But I have just drawn them on here with some pencil. I'm going to flip it over so the pencil's underneath on the parchment paper. And then just with our bag, we're going to outline.
And this is a pretty big, wide tip she's got going.
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost like marshmallow.
It is. It has a marshmallow-like consistency, but you can see how light and fluffy and glossy it is. And then we're just going to fill it in.
And this is what you would do if you did any shape.
Right, any shape. You could do it in a circle. You could do it whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
But so super easy.
And a letter would be cute if you're doing a letter.
Oh, you could do, it's almost like, you could draw any shape on here.
And so you're just doing it about half an inch thick, I'd say?
Yeah, about that thick.
Okay.
About as thick as, that's about as thick as my tip is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay, well that didn't look too hard, and then we bake it.
We bake them in a low, you preheat your oven to, I think, 300. As soon as you put them in, you turn it down to 250. And then they bake for about 30 minutes. You don't want them to get golden brown. You just want them to be set. And
look how pretty
then they get dry in the bottom. But then I just turn off the oven. I let them sit in the oven overnight.
Oh,
you
let the oven cool down with these inside.
Yeah, and then they get some nice and dry on the bottom, so they're released. So a pavlova or a meringue should be crispy on the outside and chewy like a marshmallow on the inside.
And then does that help so they don't deflate also?
Yeah, and so a lot of that has to do with the way you beat it, but if we break this open,
Ooh, it's
can
marshmallowy
see goo
inside, and then, yeah, that crunch on the outside.
Yeah.
And what are you, 'cause this is a dessert, so talk to us about this
Right.
cute bar you put together.
Well, I think at a party, everybody kind of likes to build their own or make their
Yes,
own,
yeah.
and then they can, you know, do it to their own taste. So I like just to fill the board with all kinds of fruit. I have chocolate sauce, I have lemon curd, I have caramel, and I have whipped cream. And then everybody can just take a little plate, put their meringue on it, and build on top of what they want. The other wonderful thing about this dessert is it is naturally gluten-free.
Oh, people are
So it is
yearning for those.
perfect for if you have any.
Tell me about saving. What if I make these the day before?
Yeah, they work great making the day before. Just make sure you put them like in an airtight Ziploc baggie. Do not put them in the refrigerator.
Oh,
because the moisture from the refrigerator will break down the sugar. So just leave them out at room temperature in an airtight container.
How long could we save, do you think?
A couple days.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
can make ahead. You don't have
Yeah.
to stress the day of whatever your event
Right.
is. And what a fun idea. Totally new. Comes from Australia, she told me. So.
Pavlova does, yes.
Pavlova, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing us fun new things. We appreciate it. Where do people find more?
Yeah, my blog, Your Home Based Mom, or on Instagram, Your Home Based Mom.
Thanks, Leigh Anne. So fun. I might try to tackle that. Doesn't
I
look too
think you
hard.
should do it.
Thanks, Leigh Anne.